This board has 701 components on it. That's already more than you can find by just looking at the PCB. Now scale that up to the boards that I worked with at Intel. Thousands of components, tens of thousands of nets. Finding one little component just by scanning the schematic or PCB, impossible. So the rule is the same whether you're looking for 700 components or 7,000. You never find a part by looking, you find it by searching the parameters. Hit the Ctrl+F on your keyboard, then go to text to find, insert the manufacturer part number you're looking for, that's this one. Then set the scope to sheet scope, project documents, selection, all objects, identifiers, all identifiers, because we want to look through the parameters of our components. Then under options, choose jump to results, then regular expressions. Click OK. This is going to jump directly to my components that have that manufacturer part number. And I can navigate to hit next to find all the other components as well. Now I know how you'd like to search for a specific part in here because I used to do it too. You'd zoom in, you'd scan, you'd hunt for the part using your eyes. But a senior engineer told me pretty early when I was more of a junior engineer that you can't find parts like that. You need to search using the parameters in the parts. Now, if you're still scanning for components in your schematics, you're doing it the slow way. So stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll never be hunting for parts again. So I double click on my schematic symbol, right? And here's what's happening. This component is not a symbol drawing. What this really is a bag of parameters. So when I double click on it and the properties window shows up, it has different things like the manufacturer part number, the number of pins, the package casing. If you click on here, it shows all of that. The most important parameters being the detailed component description and also the manufacturer part number. It'll have a value, a footprint, a tolerance. It has a data sheet that tells you what the part actually does. So if I click here, it'll pull up the data sheet. So the schematic isn't a drawing, it's actually a database with a drawing on top of it. So the key thing here is that you want to think of components as a sort of lookup table. The identity of a component isn't in the schematic symbol, but it's more so in the parameters attached to that schematic symbol. This was the biggest shift when it came to components and schematics when I went from junior to more senior engineer at Intel. Once you understand this difference in viewing components as just a bunch of parameters, you'll start treating the schematic and PCB like a searchable database. So when I need to find one specific component, here's how I actually do it. And I'm working in Altium Develop right now in a full project. So in this 34-page schematic, I need to find one specific part, and I don't want to look through all 34 pages. Let's say I need to find the MP5087 chip. It's a specific regulator on this board. And naturally I'd look through for power or something, but I don't want to look through like 3 power pages. So what I do is select the top level schematic, then hit Ctrl+F on the keyboard. That opens the search, and this is where I type in the part number. Now by default, you might be scoped to the current document. You want that to be the project documents. Your selection can be amongst all objects, just in case you have notes in there, not just parts. And then here's the key thing. Switch this identifier to all identifiers. Why not anything else like designators only or net identifiers? It's because I don't know the nets or the designator names, but all identifiers allow me to search the parameters. That's the whole trick. Then on top of that, let's say my part numbers are not exactly just this. I might have GG after or some other string. I'm going to change that to include regular expressions. And also I want to jump to the results. Now hit OK and it jumps straight to the first result and even tells you the number of items or objects that have this string in the parameter. And the full list is in the message panel on the right. So see, it jumps straight to the schematic page and the schematic symbol that has this manufacturer part number. See, it's found them. The symbol, the footprint, the data sheet, all attached to that one search. So I'm really searching the metadata of this database, not the schematic sheets or pages graphically. So I'm searching the metadata of my database and not just looking through a drawing. Now, back in the day, I used to print out all the schematic pages and the drawings instead of searching through the database. That was effective, but this saves way more time. So I got to what I needed in 10 seconds instead of spending a few minutes to look for my parts and still possibly missing them. Now, typically you would stop here after you found your part, but there's one problem. Just because two parts have the same part number doesn't mean they're actually the same. Two parts that look the same on the schematic sheet can be completely different when you look at the data sheet. When I worked at Canon, and this happened at Intel too, we had a schematic that had the one component with the part number and another component with the same part number, but just slightly different specification. So the part numbers were technically different, but they were in the same catalog, you know, the datasheet catalog that they have there. When I look through the catalog line by line to look at the difference, one had a slightly different input voltage range from the other. One could handle 1.4 as its on threshold, one handled 1.6 as its on threshold. Making sure you have the right component is ever more important. I spent 2.5 hours just yesterday making sure that one part change that had a slightly different footprint wasn't going to ruin the power tree, the power startup sequence, and then firmware on an NVIDIA Jetson AGX Orin board. Now with this component right, I checked that the datasheet is correct, sure, but why this matters is you need to make sure this component meets your design requirements. That's why you need to have requirements for any design. That's how you make anything in the first place. And here, this is the Altium Develop workspace requirements portal. Okay. So for example, if we look in the electronics requirements, right? And I want to look up one of my boards and I need my components to be able to handle ambient temperature of -20°C to 60°C. Then I would go inside my data sheet for my component and then look up temperature. What's the operating range? See, it starts going down after up to about 60°C. If this doesn't perform the way I need it to for power dissipation for my system and ambient temperature, I need to look at parts that can satisfy that temperature requirement. This is why we have that data sheet and the requirements, okay? So here's the key takeaway. A schematic is a database and the part number is the key. Even if you're working with a simple board, stop scanning for parts using your eye. Search for the parameters, even if you're working with a simple schematic. And never trust a part until you've checked its data sheet against the requirements. Now here's what I want to leave with you. I told you that the part number will let you know the data sheet, and the data sheet is going to tell you the real things behind the silicon, the real electrical voltages and currents and everything. But this chip has to get its power through a trace. So the question is, how wide does the trace need to be? And the answer will surprise you because it's not one answer, it's two. The trace that's carrying say 1.6 amps or 7 amps versus the trace that's carrying 300 microamps, even though they're on the same board, are shaped by two completely different laws of physics. That's in the next video, and I'll show you exactly how to do it.